Hey, do me all a favor. Grab a pencil or something small next to you and jam it up your nose. Or, better yet, just eat it. I'm just kidding, don't do that. But isn't it nice that we have the choice whether we want to or not? Well, for some animals, they don't have that choice. You see, for the majority of us that have seen this video, we know how heartbreaking it could be. We've liked it, shared it, even retweeted it. But more importantly, we know what the main culprit is: plastic straws. How are we a culture that says that we care so much about the environment, yet still rely on these crude, barbaric, satanically striped tubes that are designed to make our lives a little bit easier at the expense of others? Well, today I'm here to tell you why, and how we can move past it. First, I'll tell you how these plastic straws affect our world, including us. Then, I'll tell you why we continue to rely on plastic straws, and finally, how we can survive without them. So let's start off with why these things are extra harmful and why they suck. Pun intended. First, plastic straws are overflowing our oceans. National Geographic published an article on February 23rd, 2018 stating that the US by itself uses 500 million plastic straws a day, each day. Now, plastic straws are technically recyclable, but the problem is that they're too small. So when they go through the sorting machine, they just fall through, and in the end just get thrown away. Now, metro.co.uk, published also on February 23rd, 2018, states that the problem with plastic is it's non-biodegradable, meaning it can't be broken down. Instead, what it becomes is this thing called microplastics. Microplastics are pretty much just itty-bitty pieces of plastics that are invisible to the human eye. And as a result, 71% of birds and 30% of turtles have found to ingested plastic, and only half of them will survive. But plastic also affects people. TheGuardian.com published an article on March 14th, 2018 stating that in 83% of tap water sources, plastic pieces were found, the average being about 4,800 pieces per liter. Now, as a frame of reference, if you've been to the 7-Eleven across the street, a super big gulp is a little bit more than a liter. So imagine drinking that whole thing full of tap water, and you've just consumed around 5,000 pieces of plastic. And bottled water isn't any better. That same Guardian article states that in bottled waters, 90% of them were found to have plastic pieces, with that average being 10,000 pieces per liter. But water isn't the only way that we can ingest plastic. The Washington Post published an article on September 6, 2017 stating that more and more fish are becoming attracted to plastics because of the smell. But these aren't fish that are just random. These are fish we commonly eat, like anchovies, salmon, and the occasional shark. But what does plastic mean to the person? Well, Chemical.news published their informational article on November 30th, 2017 stating that too much ingesting of polypropylene, which is the plastic commonly used in straws, can lead to side effects such as cancer, and for women, problem with fertility. So if these things can cause cancer, why the heck are we still using them? Well, I'm here to tell you why, for a couple of reasons. JohnstonDental.com, published on September 16th, 2014, states that there are two main reasons why we continue to use plastic straws. The first one is hygiene. Now, germs don't only form on cups from improper washing. They can form as soon as handling or exposure to other people. And the other being convenience. It takes more energy to raise your hand, tilt your head back, and tilt your wrist in order to drink something than simply just lift up a cup and drink from a straw. Now, there's this myth floating around that states that if you use a straw, it can actually keep your teeth cleaner. WebMD published this article on June 17, 2005, stating that using a straw when drinking dark drinks, such as Coke and coffee, can keep your teeth from discoloring through a process called bypass suction, or as I like to call it, bullshit. But I'll get more on that later. And finally, sometimes you don't even realize when you're given a plastic straw. Now, for Mother's Day, I took my family to California Pizza Kitchen, and I wanted to treat them. So I ordered us some waters. But before I could even say anything, the waitress had already put the plastic straws in the cup. Now, even if I didn't use the plastic straw, they would still be thrown away. Now, that doesn't even give me the option of not using them. So the obvious solution to all of this is to stop using plastic straws. But that's not very realistic. So here are some ways that we can still use straws, but also save the environment. and stick it to these plastic straw manufacturers. So let me debunk this myth that straws can actually keep your teeth cleaner. That same WebMD article states that while it is technically true that plastic straws keep your teeth clean, it is highly impractical. You see, the way that normal people would drink from a straw is they would just extend their lips out and suck. But the way that is technically supposed to save your teeth is you would put the straw in the back of your tongue and drink directly down your throat. Now, not only is this impractical, it's uncomfortable. And as a result, the vast majority of people don't use it. Bullshit indeed. Now, for those of us who still want to use a straw, there is a solution. Specifically, the final straw. Now, what the final straw is, according to their Kickstarter page on May 8th, 2018, states that it is a recyclable, collapsible metal straw that fits in a container no bigger than this, that you can put on your keychain. Now, this solves a lot of our problems. In the terms of hygiene, it comes with a metal pipe cleaner. So for all you germaphobes out there, it's your responsibility to keep it clean, and you'll always have a metal straw ready on deck. And in terms of convenience, well, what's more convenient than having a metal straw with you at all times? I rest my case. Now, it does cost a whopping $20 to purchase, but let's put that into perspective. That's about 4 Frappuccinos from Starbucks, an average dinner of all-you-can-eat sushi, or half a Kanye West t-shirt. And I think the environment's a little bit more important. Now, a practical step that we all can take is when you go out to a restaurant or food, just simply request not to have a plastic straw. All you need to do is when you order your drink, tell the waiter or waitress that you don't want a plastic straw in your drink. Now, did you know that you can actually drink more if you drink directly from the cup? And if you're still concerned about germs, well, now you have a metal straw with you at all times. Hint, hint. Now, the final thing I want to propose is this movement called the Last Plastic Straw. You see, what the movement does is their goal is to completely eliminate plastic use. But that's a far-off dream. And so the first step they're taking is eliminating plastic straws. And the way they're doing it is by partnering up with local businesses and restaurants and convincing them to either eliminate straws or finding eco-friendly alternatives, like bamboo. Now, if you go to their website, then I will provide with you, if you leave your name on a sign-up sheet I'll provide later, that they provide a list of all the businesses that they're partnered with that you should support if you want to end plastic straw use. Now, first I talked about how plastic straws affect the planet. Then I talked about why we continue to rely on plastic straws, and finally, how we can get rid of them. I cannot stress the importance of this change. It is time to stop this wasteful culture that we've practiced for the past 60 years. Do you know what happened 60 years ago? Segregation and the Vietnam War. And I think we've come a long way from that. And if you're thinking, well, I'm just one person, what difference can I make? I want you to remember that turtle. And how many straws did it have up its nose? Just one. Thank you.